Today, we embark on an exploration into a prevalent aspect of daily existence: manipulation. This insidious form of negative social influence, employed by individuals or organizations, employs subtle tactics to exert control and gain advantage over others. Its presence can be felt across various domains, such as the workplace, personal relationships, and within larger social circles. Thus, it becomes imperative to not only comprehend, but also reflect upon these tactics, as they serve as safeguards for our autonomy and foster healthier and more transparent relationships. Learning to defend oneself against manipulation requires delving into its most intense tactics. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that knowledge itself is neutral. Its morality is contingent upon the intentions of its user. Therefore, it's essential to approach this knowledge with a sense of responsibility. The aim here is not to exploit others, but rather to shield oneself from such exploitation. Manipulation, often surreptitious in its infiltration of our lives, warrants demystification. By understanding these techniques, we arm ourselves with the necessary tools to combat them effectively. Through this journey, one gains a more critical perspective and a heightened awareness of the world around them. However, it's important to recognize the darker aspects of manipulation. The purpose of this exploration is not to advocate its use, but to empower individuals to protect themselves. Knowledge is a double-edged sword, capable of both constructive and destructive outcomes. Therefore, it is incumbent upon each of us to employ this knowledge responsibly, whether for self-defense or personal growth. As we delve into the intricacies of manipulation, it's my promise that you will emerge better equipped to navigate the complexities of the world. So, let's embark on this journey together. But before we proceed, I encourage you to show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. Your contribution is invaluable, and it costs you nothing. Let's dive in. Let's break down two manipulation tactics: triangulation and the double bind. Triangulation is a subtle yet potent manipulation tactic that involves introducing a third party into a relationship dynamic to sow division, tension, or confusion. The manipulator utilizes this third party as a tool to exert control, destabilize existing relationships, or divert attention from their own questionable actions. Within triangulation, the manipulator may pit one individual against another by sharing distorted or confidential information between them, or by using the third party to validate their own opinions while discrediting the other party. This can lead victims to doubt their own perceptions and feelings, isolating them and fostering dependency on the manipulator. For instance, in a family context, a parent might speak negatively about one child to another, thus creating an alliance with the second child and leaving the first feeling isolated and insecure. Similarly, in the workplace, a boss might spread negative information about one employee to another, fostering rivalry and distrust. Triangulation corrodes trust and direct communication between parties, enabling the manipulator to retain control and evade responsibility for conflicts or misunderstandings. Victims often find themselves ensnared in a cycle of conflict, without fully comprehending the manipulator's role. Countering triangulation necessitates recognizing the tactic, fostering open and honest communication among the manipulated parties, and maintaining strong personal boundaries. It is essential to question the validity of information received, seek direct clarifications with involved parties, and refuse to engage in conversations or actions that promote division or distrust. Now, onto the double bind. This manipulation tactic entails placing a person in a situation where they are presented with two contradictory choices or messages, both of which led to disadvantage or criticism. The aim is to confuse and control the victim, leaving them feeling powerless, bewildered, and anxious. The manipulator may communicate conflicting expectations or demands, leaving the victim with no satisfactory resolution. For example, a parent may criticize a child for not being communicative, but when the child attempts to express themselves, they are rebuked for being disrespectful or overly sensitive. In relationships, one partner might express a desire for more independence, but then react negatively or withdraw when the other spends time alone. Victims of the double bind manipulation struggle with feelings of confusion and insecurity as their actions seem to consistently elicit negative responses. This manipulation undermines the victim's ability to trust their judgment, leading to persistent self-doubt and diminished self-esteem. To combat the double bind, it's crucial to recognize it as a manipulation tactic rather than a reflection of personal failure. Seeking support from trusted individuals, such as friends, counselors, or therapists, can validate the victim's perceptions and feelings. Additionally, setting clear boundaries and assertively communicating one's needs are vital steps in safeguarding against this form of manipulation. Number 3. Projection. Projection is a manipulation tactic where the manipulator assigns their own flaws, feelings, or inappropriate intentions to the victim. This occurs when the manipulator refuses to acknowledge their own shortcomings and instead projects them onto others, causing the victim to feel guilty or doubtful about their own actions or emotions. This defense mechanism distorts the victim's reality, leading them to question their perceptions and assume responsibility for problems that actually belong to the manipulator. For example, a jealous partner may accuse. Now, let's explore time pressure. This manipulation tactic aims to coerce the victim into making quick decisions by creating a false sense of urgency. The manipulator asserts that immediate action is necessary to avoid negative consequences or seize a fleeting opportunity. By exploiting the fear of loss and inducing anxiety, the manipulator limits the victim's time for thoughtful consideration, research, or consultation. For instance, this tactic is commonly employed in high-pressure sales pitches, where sellers insist on limited-time offers or scarcity of items. It can also manifest in personal or professional relationships, such as demanding immediate responses to significant requests or imposing unrealistic deadlines for important decisions. Under time pressure, the victim may hastily make decisions to their detriment while benefiting the manipulator. The artificial urgency prevents the victim from weighing all options or seeking advice, hindering their ability to make informed choices. To counter this tactic, it's crucial to recognize when manipulation through time pressure is at play, requesting time for reflection, resisting the urge to act hastily, and remembering that few decisions truly necessitate immediate responses are essential. Moreover, being aware that time pressure often signals manipulation and that waiting may yield additional information for better decision-making. The utilization of inconsistency and unpredictability as a manipulation tactic involves the manipulator behaving erratically and unpredictably, leading to confusion and insecurity in the victim. This behavior ranges from extreme affection and attentiveness to sudden coldness or disdain without apparent reason. Such a pattern keeps the victim in a perpetual state of disorientation and anxiety, unable to anticipate or comprehend the manipulator's actions. This tactic is commonly deployed in abusive relationships, where the abuser alternates between kindness and cruelty, fostering an emotionally unstable environment. Consequently, the victim, seeking to understand the manipulator, the effectiveness of unpredictability lies in exploiting the human desire for consistency and stability. When a person's actions lack a logical or predictable pattern, it becomes challenging for others to adapt or respond appropriately, fostering emotional and psychological dependence on the manipulator as the perceived sole source of resolution or relief. To address inconsistency and unpredictability, it is imperative for the victim to recognize the manipulator's behavior pattern and understand that they are not obligated to constantly adjust or appease the other party. Establishing clear boundaries and maintaining emotional distance from the manipulator are essential steps. Seeking support from friends, family, or professionals can offer perspective and assistance in dealing with this form of manipulation, aiding in the rebuilding of self-esteem and independence. Gaslighting involves the manipulator vehemently denying certain events or distorting facts to contradict the victim's memory. They may also belittle the victim's feelings, labeling their reactions as irrational or crazy, or utilize privileged information to discredit them. This manipulation occurs in personal relationships, workplaces, and broader contexts like politics or the media. Gaslighting profoundly impacts the victim, leading to anxiety, depression, and a loss of trust in their own perceptions and memories. Countering gaslighting involves strengthening trust in oneself and one's perceptions. This may include keeping records of events or conversations, seeking external perspectives to validate reality, and establishing firm boundaries with the manipulator. In severe cases, removing oneself from the toxic situation may be necessary. Recognizing and naming the experience empowers the victim and diminishes the manipulator's control. Forced social approval is a manipulation technique where the manipulator exaggerates the level of support or approval from others to influence the victim. They may fabricate stories or distort facts to create an illusion of consensus, exploiting the human tendency to conform to group norms and seek social approval. To defend against forced social approval, it's crucial to develop critical thinking, question the truthfulness of claims, and seek concrete evidence before accepting claims of consensus. Maintaining confidence in one's perceptions and judgments, even if it means standing against the supposed majority, is essential. Recognizing and understanding this manipulation tactic allows individuals to make more authentic choices and be less influenced by pressure to conform to fictitious or exaggerated social norms. Number 9 addresses the manipulation strategy known as concealment of information, where one party intentionally withholds crucial information from another to influence decisions or perceptions. This tactic can significantly distort the victim's understanding and behavior, leading them to make decisions based on an incomplete or distorted view of reality. Concealment of information occurs in various contexts, from personal relationships to business transactions and politics. For instance, in relationships, a partner may hide financial details or past relationships, impacting trust dynamics. In the workplace, a colleague or superior might omit critical project details, hindering efficient task completion. In sales or negotiations, hiding product defects or unfavorable terms can deceive consumers or negotiating parties. In politics, concealing relevant information from the public can sway public opinion and electoral outcomes. Defending against concealment of information involves being vigilant and adopting a questioning approach, fact-checking from multiple sources, asking detailed questions, and seeking transparency in interactions are crucial steps. Developing critical awareness and not accepting information at face value can help identify when information is being concealed. Recognizing that concealment of information is a form of manipulation enables individuals to be less susceptible to decisions or opinions based on incomplete or distorted information. Emphasizing open and honest communication is vital for fostering transparent and fair relationships. Number 10 discusses fear attachment manipulation, where manipulators create a do or die scenario, making victims believe that dire consequences will occur if they do not comply. This can involve direct threats, subtle insinuations, or negative hypothetical scenarios to coerce compliance. Fear attachment is prevalent in the manipulation tactic known as the blame game. The manipulator endeavors to shift responsibility for their own errors, failures, or actions onto the victim. This strategy aims to induce feelings of guilt in the victim, regardless of their innocence, leading them to question themselves, excessively apologize, and even accept blame unjustly. By assigning fault to the victim, manipulators seek to divert attention from their own misconduct, thus maintaining control and evading accountability for their actions. This tactic can manifest in various contexts, including abusive relationships, workplaces, or dysfunctional family dynamics. For instance, within a relationship, a manipulative partner might attribute their jealous or irrational behavior to the victim, alleging that the victim's actions provoke such reactions. Similarly, in a workplace scenario, a colleague or superior may assign blame to the victim for a project failure, even when responsibility is shared or entirely the manipulator's. To counteract the blame game, it is imperative to uphold a clear understanding of reality and refrain from accepting blame for matters beyond one's control or clearly someone else's responsibility. Strengthening self-awareness and self-esteem aids in recognizing and rejecting unjust blame assignments. Maintaining detailed records of events and conversations is valuable in challenging false accusations and maintaining an objective viewpoint. Establishing firm boundaries with the manipulator and assertively communicating that shifting blame is unacceptable are essential steps. Seeking support from trusted individuals can provide validation and alternative perspectives, aiding the victim in breaking free from the cycle of guilt imposed by the manipulator.